Hi, I'm Stewart Walker, former amateur rugby league player with Ryhill and Havercroft. Used to play in the Sunday morning league many years ago in 1978 when I first started at 16-year-old. I think it was Sunday morning league. I think it was Yorkshire Sunday morning league. And at the time, I was a winger. I played many positions. Over the years, I played fullback, scrum half. And I was playing scrum half at the time in a pre-season friendly, playing against Sunning from Wakefield. And it was about 60, 70 minutes into the game. And other team got a penalty. So as what we used to say is forwards in, backs out on a penalty. But me being me, I was always in thick of it. So I stayed in line. And this big forward come and run and I tried tackling him and I must have got it wrong position. And he fell up back of my shoulders and I just went, no, it folded me in half and I just went numb straight away from waist down, knowing something bad might have happened, not knowing exactly what it was, but when we got to hospital it had brought me back on T12 and severed my spinal cord straight away, and it left me in a wheelchair then, telling me like, you're going to be in a wheelchair for life. I must have been in shock. There was no pain at all. The doctor said that's why we severing your spinal cord straight away. That's why there was no pain. It was just numb straight away from my waist down. I tried lifting my body up and it felt as though top half of my body were here and bottom half of my body was somewhere else. It just felt weird. I don't think I was in shock. I was just not knowing really what had happened. I know I had it in my mind there was something bad, but I don't think I was in shock on really how bad until they told me what had happened when I got to hospital. And the doctor said to me, you're lucky you've only brought, although you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, you're lucky you've brought your back. He said, because 9 out of 10 of rugby players, it's always been the neck. He said, so you're lucky you've brought your back. I mean, I didn't find it lucky at that time, but when you look at it now, you know, the broken back, I can do a lot more for myself than what some people can, what's brought the necks. I was more upset because I've got 3 young lads. I'd just gone through a divorce 6 months earlier where my wife had left me and left 3 kids with me. So I was looking after 3 young lads who were 4, 7 and 9. So not being able to look after them, me being in hospital, they were stopping at me, they were at my parents at time like. Again, we in 18 months of my accident happening, I went through a divorce. I was a minor at Grimethorpe Colliery, so Grimethorpe had just shut, so I was made redundant. We pit shutting. So all these 3 things hit me within 18 months. So it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time, 93.
Hello, I'm Steve Ball, General Manager of the Rugby League Benevolent Fund, and I'm pleased the Benevolent Fund has been able to involve Stu, and also, you know, we have offered him some assistance over the last 15, 16 years. The Benevolent Fund was only formed in 2004, although the game was over 100 years old. It was only in 2004, on the back of 2 very, very serious injuries, that the Benevolent Fund was formed. And people like Stu were almost not forgotten, because you're never forgotten in this game, but not thought about as much as we should have done. In those days, amateur clubs raised monies for an individual and everybody got involved, but it was in the subsequent years that they tended to be pushed aside and a little bit left behind. So it was the responsibility of the Benevolent Fund to gather people in, all those people who had been injured prior to 2004, of which Stu was one, from both the amateur game and the professional game. And Stu came to our attention, and from then on has been very much at the forefront of what we do.
Well, when they tracked me down then, they couldn't do enough to help me. They bought me a day chair, a brand new sports day chair. I wanted to start then in 2005 playing wheelchair rugby. So they bought me my first ever sports chair. And I got this house then with my kids, and there was a lot of work wanted doing to it. And again, the Benevolent Fund came forward and helped with some of the repairs, some of the alterations, decorating and everything. I see them like 3 times a year, the Benevolent Fund, mainly because they take us to Old Trafford every year for grand final, they take us to London for Challenge Cup final, and then I go to a place, I think every January, we have the British Lions do, and I get invited there every year. These are the things what they do, other do's what we do go to, but them are the main 3 what I go to like every year. And meeting the Benevolent Fund people, meeting the other people what's had accidents, same as me, all getting together. It's just great meeting up with everybody.
I sometimes get very cross when people talk about the family of Rugby League. That's almost, to me, embodied within the Benevolent Fund. I know Stu's family, his friends, and Stu has become a friend of Rugby League itself. So when we talk about the fan, we've got great values in the sport itself. We can't offer the greatest financial support sometimes, but in terms of a social network and giving people a purpose and sometimes a solution to problems, the Benevolent Fund to me is the embodiment of the Rugby League family.
I don't know, I'm not sure what I would have done at that time when without them. I'd be lost without them now. The 30 years now, I've been in my chair 30 years, and I've had a good 30 years. I wouldn't change it. I mean, people say, if you could go back, would you go back? Yeah, if I could turn the clock back and be able-bodied, of course I would. But I've had a good 30 years in my chair. I've loved every minute. I play wheelchair rugby. I represented England in 2008. I went to Australia and won the first ever World Cup with England, and I'm still playing today.